Welcome to episode 8 of the Papa John's
It's
Day
episode
of.
7.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, well, this is episode 8. Welcome to episode 8 of the Papa John's Day of Reckoning Pizza Podcast, where we're gonna eat and review different pizzas. We do that every week, and this week, y'all have been requesting that we talk about pizza rolls versus bagel bites. So let's get right into that. What do you think?
Definitely pizza rolls.
Yeah. I think I agree. I know when I was a kid, I would have definitely said bagel bites. And I think it was more of a, I just feel like bagel bites have always been a luxury item, like in my family. Like we always had pizza rolls in the freezer.
hmm
So I've probably had about 4 billion pizza rolls in my lifetime. Um, but whenever we had bagel bites, it was something truly special.
Did you
So
ever make homemade bagel bites?
I think I have before, but it's been a while.
Yeah, I can see that. It is a luxury item.
Yeah, yeah. But I do think overall I do like pizza rolls more though. They're just kind of, they're just great. You can always rely on them.
No, it reminds me, I've just saw like this video on Twitter where it's like a restaurant in California where they're basically making homemade Uncrustables. And some commented was just like, we already have this. We don't need a restaurant where you can. And it showed them like scooping the jelly and the peanut butter like on and smashing it down. It's just so stupid. Some people.
That's amazing. And people love that. They're like, "Oh, this is the best."
This is like I've never seen this before.
hmm That's hilarious. That's fun. Yeah, but I love eating pizza rolls at home and burning your mouth. You take that first bite of one and
What's your favorite kind?
I don't know. I I don't even know what my favorite one is. Probably just the pepperoni or
Pepperoni.
I guess something like that.
I want to
But
get
yeah,
them and try it in my air fryer. I want to be fancy like that.
mm, do it. Do it.
I'll let everybody know next week on our pizza cast.
Have you ever made pizza glizzies?
No pizza glizzies.
Do you remember when I did that? I think I like it's been a long time, but one time we made uh it was one of those things I saw like on BuzzFeed or something. So we tried making them and you just like put uh like pizza sauce and cheese and pepperoni like on top of a hot dog and put it in the oven.
What I have done though is you put the bread, like the hot dog bun, and you sprinkle cheese in it, and then you broil it in the oven.
hmm
So then, like, the bun gets,
Mm,
crusty, the cheese melts, and then you put your hot dogs on top of it, and that's really good.
dang, that's that glizzy science right there.
The glizzy specialty.
Yeah, that's awesome. Well, sweet man. Well, we finally got to go to the movies and see a new movie at the
I
movie theater.
know.
Uh, we
The
saw
first
that.
movie of 2020. Well, I
Yeah,
mean,
that's what
after
of.
Corona.
hmm Yeah.
You want to
So.
know what's really funny? I just made this connection thinking about it because we saw New Mutants, and so
hmm
pre-COVID, my last movie I saw in the theater was Emma,
Mm.
and my after COVID, I mean, COVID's still going, but like you know, with movie theaters opening back up, it's New Mutants, and isn't the same chick in both of the movies, right?
Oh yeah, Anna Taylor-Joy. Yeah,
Yeah. So
that's
that's kind
right.
of funny, like seeing like
She
before and after, like I'm seeing the
she
same.
closed the movies and reopened them.
Yeah, she did. Uh,
That's
so what was
that's
your
great.
experience like? Tell me about it.
Well, it was cool. It was nice to go back. It was funny walking into the theater. They have like at the um where the person like checks your tickets and everything. Like they have like their big old shield in front of them and, and everything. Like there's
Yeah.
hand sanitizer everywhere and all that. And the lady like looked at me and she was like, and this was for this movie theater, like it was the first day it reopened.
Oh, wow.
So like that theater just opened the day on Thursday when
And
the
it's
movie came out.
AMC, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, so AMC, and she's like, welcome back. She's like, if it's good to be back, huh? And I was like, yes, it is.
You have no idea.
It sure is. So yeah, so I went with my brother. It was just me and my brother who went, and there wasn't very many people in my theater. Um, like people, obviously spread out, and there's, I guess, a decent amount, but not. I mean, I don't even know. There's very few people though.
Do they have like precautions that they're doing? Like, do you have to wear a mask or?
Yeah, you have to wear your mask, but it's like, wear your mask at all times unless you're eating or drinking.
Yeah,
So
that's what Cinemark is.
yeah, so it's kind of funny. But yeah, and wearing the mask was fine. At first, I was like, it's a little uncomfortable, but once the movie was going, I kind of forgot I was wearing it.
Yeah,
So
it's the
I'm
same thing
fine.
with at my work. I have to wear it like the whole day, and I just
Yeah,
forget about it sometimes. They are annoying though.
yeah, definitely, definitely a little annoying, but hey, I'm glad that we're able to
As
go to the
Starship
theaters.
Trooper would say, I'm doing my part.
I'm doing my part.
Want to
Yeah.
learn more?
Heck
So,
yeah.
what did you yeah, it's such a good feeling though, right? Like being back in the theater, sitting in the seats and
Yeah,
d-
it was so weird, and it was exciting seeing like some of the trailers, and then we saw in IMAX, and then they do some of the regular trailers, and then they're like, okay, and now these trailers are all the movies that are coming to IMAX, and then it showed the trailer for Tenet, and I got so hyped because I was like, oh wait, like we're seeing that in a couple days, basically.
yeah, I know. Monday.
So
That's
yeah,
tomorrow.
yeah, it's
Tomorrow.
tomorrow. So yeah, so that was pretty exciting. It was cool. So what did you think of them? Or was there anything? I know this is your second time going back to the theater, right?
Yeah.
But did you go to a different theater this time?
Yeah, I went to a different theater. I went to a theater that was locally, and this one's just kind of like a cheaper one. And,
Mm,
it, so the Cinemark, obviously has a luxury loungers, and it's super nice to be in that. This is like the typical stadium seating. Is it the lounger chairs?
no, that the AMC that I went to doesn't have the
Oh, so it's
recliners.
stadium seating.
Hmm.
Okay. So yeah, I mean it was fine. The problem with like some of these like older theaters is they're the really long like seat like how the sitting areas, and then it's just one walk path like right down the middle.
Oh,
So I don't really like that because I feel like you're sitting either on the left side of the screen or the right side of the screen. And so I always like to
uh,
sit like in the middle. But
yeah.
it still was fine. Like, it you kind of feel like you're a lot lower than the screen, but
Mm,
it was okay.
yeah. I know those theaters. I know
With this,
I
and
know
especially
exactly what
with
you're
this
talking about.
movie, like it's okay like that I saw this kind of movie like in this theater just because I didn't really have that much high hopes for it.
Hmm.
So it was okay to see it in this kind of theater, but
So
Tenet or like some of these other ones I would want to see in Cinemark or Regal.
yeah. So you say you didn't have like high hopes for it or anything like that, and I didn't either. But what were your expectations going in? What were you like thinking going into this movie?
Um, so I feel like the last X-Men movie that I saw wasn't it Dark Phoenix or whatever.
Yeah.
And so, the movie was okay, but I just feel like X-Men has kind of been like digressing a little bit
Hmm.
and just it's not like the hype that it should be as much anymore. Just because I
Yeah.
feel like roles are changing, you don't have um oh, what's his face? I'm totally forgetting it. You don't have him as Logan anymore. And so there's just like all of these like kind of things are happening. Like it's just like a new, I guess, time for like X-Men. And
Yeah.
I feel like, for X-Men to like start getting bigger again, they should really start kind of combining the cinematic universe in a sense, instead of still trying to do like the differences. But I know it's just because of 20th Century Studios and like that, they can't obviously
Yeah.
do
Well,
that. But
we're uh, the 2020s should be a new era for X-Men. I mean, because this is the New Mutants was it's the 13th X-Men movie, which is crazy that there's been that many
yeah.
X-Men movies, and it it was the last one, under 20th Century Fox before the Disney merger or whatever.
Oh, okay.
So I am assuming the next time we get an X-Men movie, it's going to be an MCU. It'll be an MCU X-Men movie, and I don't know what they're gonna do, but I'm sure they're gonna wait a little while before they try to reboot it. Um, but like, who the heck are you gonna who are you gonna cast as Wolverine? And
I don't know.
it'll be interesting to see, but I think that it will be
Nicolas
cool.
Cage.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, Nicolas Cage. I saw a thing today about, I guess, Keanu Reeves. He used to always want to play Wolverine, but now he's like, well, I'm too old now. But he's like,
Yeah,
I would have loved to be Wolverine.
he
Um,
would have done a good job.
yeah, I would see that. But yeah, I can't really imagine who would play Wolverine. But I think that, um, I mean, it'll be cool to see, um, kind of see X-Men finally get like a real reboot and under the MCU,
Yeah.
and see them. It would be cool to see X-Men in an Avengers movie.
No, exactly. And
So,
we're waiting for that, and
hmm
it's that now that's finally going to start happening. It's kind of exciting to see.
yeah.
But what were your expectations leading to this movie, and what did you think about it?
Yeah, I didn't really have any expectations. I was just excited to go in. I love X-Men. I'm a huge X-Men fan, but there's bad X-Men movies and then there's great X-Men movies. Like
Yeah.
the quality has been so uh kind of all over the place, Like I mean,
Oh yeah.
you got movies like Dark Phoenix and then you have Logan uh and that's just kind of how it's been like since the beginning really. But so I didn't really have any expectations, and I don't really know anything about the New Mutants series, but I was excited just to see it. But I wasn't expecting it to be good or bad. I was just like, all right, let's just go see it. I'm excited to go to the movies, and
Yeah,
also just
exactly.
excited to see this movie because it's been, you know,
Delayed.
delayed. Like this should have come out a couple years ago, and so it's cool to finally see it, and especially see it right after movie theaters opened up again. So
Yeah, they signed on the project in 2015,
yeah,
and they started
and
filming in 2017. That's crazy.
yeah, I think it was supposed to come out in like April 2018,
Yeah.
and they delayed it. And I guess that they were supposed to do reshoots, um, and they were planning on doing them. And then after the process of Disney acquiring 20th Century Fox, then they just kind of were like, all right, we're not doing the reshoots. You just have to you just have to finish the movie. And so, uh, but yeah, and I guess they were planning on making it a trilogy, which
That's interesting.
obviously not happening.
Yeah.
Uh, and um, and then in the movie, there was originally going to be an end credit scene with who was it? Now I can't remember who it was, but they said who the actor was. It was like in the end credit scene, and like I want to say it was someone like Javier Bardem or something crazy like that. But yeah, and then there's like scenes in the movie where it sounds like they cut some things that kind of might have teased like the idea of having a sequel or things like that. So, uh, but yeah, so
I liked in this movie though. I did like the tie that they had, kind of connecting it with Logan a little bit. So that was like
mhm.
a good surprise that they kind of implemented into the movie. Um, but I thought it was okay. I mean, in
Mhm.
the beginning, I was like, okay, like this is gonna be kind of an interesting movie. But then like when they started doing a lot more of like the fears that each of these mutants had,
Yeah.
that's when I kind of perked my interest a little bit more. Just kind of seeing like the different fears that some of these mutants had, like in this hospital, and like how, um, like some of them were kind of just, I don't know, it just kind of grabbed my attention a little bit more. I don't know.
Yeah,
But
I definitely
besides
agree.
that, like the movie was like pretty average.
Yeah, it's definitely not. It's yeah, it's not anything
Special.
like special, but and it is super cringy. I mean, the
Oh yeah.
beginning. I mean, the whole movie. There's so much just cringe throughout, like this, just teenage drama kind of stuff. And it's from the director of The
Fault
Fault
with
in
it.
Our
Yeah.
Stars, which I never saw that movie, but yeah, but it makes sense. Um, so yeah, it was really cringy, but I really did enjoy like the horror aspect of it and those
Uh-huh.
like the different fears and stuff like you're saying. I thought it was cool and I think it was done well for the most part. Some of the CGI that they had wasn't amazing, but it didn't like take me out of it either. Like I thought it was
Hmm.
fine. Um, but I thought some of those scenes were really cool. And I really liked the concept and the story of, you know, the story of it. I thought was interesting. I liked that it was kind of a contained movie, but I just wish. Well, I don't necessarily even. Not that I wish that it was better or anything. I just think that if this movie was executed better and um, I could see myself loving this movie if it was just done a little bit a little bit better.
No, I
Because
definitely love the horror aspect of it.
yeah, and I thought the characters were interesting. I like don't want to spoil anything, but I like how you find out like some of these kids their powers. I thought their powers were cool. Um, but yeah, some of the like the acting and the dialogue and all that just was like, it's a little, it's a little cringe.
No, definitely. There
Um,
was that teenage cringe was in full effect in the beginning of the
oh,
movie and in some areas.
it was strong. It was definitely yeah. It went hard on the cringe. Um, but but yeah, I think overall it was enjoyable. I liked it. I'm glad that I saw it, and it was short too. It wasn't
Uh-huh.
like it wasn't like over 2 hours like most superhero movies. So it was kind of nice that it wasn't super long. Um, but yeah, I was interested throughout. I think in the beginning, I just kind of I didn't care about
Hmm.
some of this teen drama, and I was like, I don't know. It just didn't really work for me. But as it started picking up, and you're starting to find out more about this place that they're in, and more about who they are and their powers and all that, I thought it was cool. It had its moments.
No, it's funny because, my wife, she's not like really into some of those thriller horror movies or whatever. And
Hmm.
as the movie was progressing, you started seeing more of that aspect of this film. She was
Yeah.
like, why did you bring this? Why did you bring me to this? And I'm like, I had no idea that it was gonna be something like this. And so that was like the one thing I did like about it, just like not really caring too much about this movie or just kind of going and seeing it just to see what it's about. I love that aspect of how, it completely was in a different direction than I thought it was gonna be, just with this like thriller aspect.
Yeah. Yeah, I thought that was cool. And I was reading something apparently, um, with all the marketing, like they really leaned into that. Like they showed like those horror aspects of it in like the trailers made it look like a straight up horror movie. Um, and apparently it was after when it chapter 1 came out and was such a huge success. That's when they were like, okay, let's market it as you know like, I mean, obviously I already had those horror elements, but they were like, well,
Yeah.
let's lean into that because obviously it is doing so well. People will like it. So I thought that was interesting. I would definitely like to see. I would, if they did make a sequel, I would see it.
Yeah, I would
If the
too.
trilogy, if the trilogy ended up, you know, happening for real, then I would definitely see the next one.
Hmm.
And I would like to see more kind of movies like this, like superhero movies that kind of take on other genres.
No, I agree. I think that's what I liked about just the difference. But if they did make like a sequel, do you think they would still go in this horror route? Or...
That's yeah, that's the thing I was thinking about it at the end of the movie. I was like, well, I feel like if they I can't imagine it being so much like that. I mean, obviously, well, I don't want to don't want to spoil anything. I think that there would still be that some of that in the sequel, but it wouldn't be the same. Like I feel like it would turn into more of a like an X-Men movie,
Yeah,
you know?
exactly.
Which and that's the other thing I liked about this too is it's not, it's not an X-Men movie. It's about these kids who have, they're figuring out what their powers are and who they are. Kind of a coming of age kind of story. So I don't know if a sequel. I don't know. I have no idea what the heck they would do with the sequel, but
Yeah, because I was thinking
I
about that
was
afterwards. I was like, man, if they kind of try to do this again, I don't think they would be able to do a horror like again.
yeah.
They could have some elements to it, but it wouldn't be like
It
classified as a horror film.
yeah, it wouldn't be the same. I agree. I think it would be there would be more action probably, and it would be yeah. It wouldn't be the same. But
It definitely
anyway,
had some of that CW teen drama implemented into
yeah.
it.
Oh yeah, that's for sure.
That's why I asked you, like, after the movie or whatever, like if this was originally supposed to be like a TV show or something, because it had some of that elements where I was like, it just feels like a really long season that they just put together or whatever.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. I agree.
But I was
Well,
definitely, but I mean, in the beginning, I don't know, they started off kind of interesting, like with what was happening, and so I was intrigued, but then like I got like bored a little bit, like right away, like once like Danny, the main character, went to like the hospital mutant thing or whatever,
hmm
the compound or whatever. But then like my interest came back when I saw more of the horror aspects of it. So
yeah,
it
same.
yeah, I mean I gave it 3 stars, but it's kind of
Same here.
like a low three. I just feel like it would just if I gave it like a 2.5, I feel like I was just trashing the movie too much. So
hmm
I just gave it like a low three.
Yeah, I gave it a 3 too because it's definitely not great, but
And it
I
was
really
different.
did, yeah, I really did enjoy a lot about it. It just as a whole, it's just not like a
Yeah.
really good movie, but there's a lot. It had a lot of potential, and I didn't really have any expectations going in, so I was kind of surprised by it. Like I was kind of ready for it. Like if I would have saw the movie and it was terrible, then I wouldn't be. I'd be like, okay, well, it was terrible, because I just really had no like real expectations for it. So I was kind of surprised. I'm like, oh, I liked it more than I probably would have thought I would. So I think it's worth watching if you like the X-Men movies, if you like um just superhero movies in general. I think it's worth checking out. I don't think that you need to go. You don't necessarily need to go see it in theaters.
Hey, if your
You
theater's
can wait.
charging like $2 per ticket or something, go ahead and see it, but
Yeah,
I wouldn't spend too much on it.
yeah, yeah. Worth watching. Maybe wait for it to come on some streaming service or whatever. But it's not the worst X Men movie.
Mm.
I made a X Men ranking list because I was thinking about all the X Men movies and um I have it kind of. I mean, it's on the lower end, but
Number two.
no, I have it at number 9 out of 13. So I liked it more than four other X Men movies, but it's not saying a whole lot because the other ones aren't that great. Um, But yeah, what's your favorite X-Men movie of if you had to pick one?
My favorite one. Hmm. You go first.
Well, for me, it's either Logan or X-Men Days of Future Past. I love both of those a lot.
I think I don't know. It's so tough. I feel like I kind of like lean towards like some of like the original ones, like the ones I
Mm,
grew up with.
like X2.
Yeah, just like X2, X3, just like with like the whole. I mean, I just like that whole trilogy, just like how it really kind of flowed together. But in reality, like I probably would go with uh Days of Future Past or Logan as well, which both of those took me a little while to see, but I really enjoyed, the story of them, especially like how the plot was in both of them and how they were in a sense different from the original ones. So it was nice to see that.
Yeah, that's one thing that I do like about, even though there's been a lot of bad, or some bad X-Men movies, I do like the variety that we've
Yeah.
gotten.
Hmm.
There's so many that they've made, but we've gotten Deadpool, and Logan was a really cool movie, something different, and I like what they did with like First Class and Days of Future Past, but. But yeah, good times. So yeah, if you want to watch it, go ahead. But it's not, you know, New Mutants. You don't necessarily have to see it.
Yeah, I would agree.
It's aight. So, so we watched a couple. Well, was there anything else that you watched this week that you wanted to talk about? I forgot to ask that.
Uh, no, there was nothing else that I watched. Just just these.
Nice. Um,
Did you watch
I
anything else?
I did watch a couple of things. I don't want to talk about them too long, but let me look real quick. Um, Oh, I caught up on I watched The Hunt
Nice.
and I enjoyed it.
It's an
Um,
interesting movie.
yeah, it was fun.
Yeah, I
Not
saw that in theaters. I think that was like the third to last or second to last something.
yeah, it was one of the last ones before they closed. And I remember I was planning on going to see it, but then like everything
I
started
loved
closing
your
down.
review for it. Your little comment was so funny.
Oh yeah, what I don't even remember what I said exactly.
Like this is what my Facebook feed
Oh,
looked like.
oh yeah, I said written and directed by my Facebook feed
Yeah,
because
it's so
what
true.
it felt like. Um, so that was fun. Watched that, and I watched. There's this other new horror movie that came out this year. It's on Hulu. It's called The Wretched. Um, I watched it because I was I was working on something and I wanted to put something on in the background, and it was not not terrible. Like it had some good moments, but
What's it
not
about?
that great. It's about a witch and some kid. Uh, it kind of had what's that one movie? What's it called? Have you ever seen Disturbia?
Yeah.
It's kind of like that where this kid he has this neighbor and the mom is uh like clearly like possessed or something and like trying to it looks like she's trying to kill her son and she has a little boy who's running away from her and no one believes um this teenager that lives next door and he's just kind of watching and trying to figure out what's going on um and everyone thinks he's crazy and I was kind of not paying complete attention but I watched the whole thing while I was working on some things and it was okay. I gave it two stars. two, two stars. There's some things that I did like about it, but it just wasn't. Yeah, it's not really something that anyone needs to see. But
Yeah.
it wasn't. It's not terrible, but it's just not very good at all.
So do you like that one or do you like Disturbia more?
Oh, Disturbia. I mean, this
Yeah.
movie. The only thing that I had in common with it is just that he was watching her from next door. It just kind of reminded me of that, but it's very different. But I did wait, but I did watch another movie that I would recommend called Bacurau. Um, it's a Brazil. It's the one I sent you yesterday. It's a
Yeah.
Brazilian movie that came out here this year. It's funny. I was reading a review on Letterboxd by Sean Baker, and it came out. I guess it came out in theaters the same day as The Hunt, and he saw it in his review. He's like, "Don't worry, everyone was social distancing and blah blah blah." And it's just funny seeing reviews like before,
Oh yeah,
right
true.
right before everything shut down, but people were starting to social distance and stuff. So that's funny. But the movie's really good. It's very weird. It has some things in kind of in common with the Hunt, which is kind of interesting. But this is, I think, a much better movie. Um, it's kind of described as a weird Western uh, movie, but I don't really want to tell you too much about it. But you should definitely check it out. It's on Criterion Channel.
Oh, perfect.
Yeah, and yeah, it's pretty good. I didn't really know much about it. I just kind of read a little bit, and I was like, "Yeah, sounds interesting."
Sometimes those are the best movies.
Yeah, yeah, it's very it's different, but worth checking out. So anyway, so you picked a movie. What movie was that?
Fallen Angels, 1995. Um, it was directed by Juan Kariwai. He is the same director that did one of our other movies that we watched in the film club a couple months ago, Chungking Express. And right away, like you could totally tell, like, I mean, I totally forgot that it was the same director, but when I was watching this movie, Fallen Angels, I was like, oh, this has to be the same director because it's the same film style, like how they did
Yeah.
like some of like the blurred motions. And so as soon as I looked up, I was like, oh yeah, that makes complete sense. But it's another one of those movies where it's kind of like Amores Perros and obviously Chungking Express, where it's the inside of the movie, you know, it's two different stories and somehow they come together. And so,
Hmm.
you know, I like seeing that aspect of this movie playing out with that. I will have to admit, I was kind of confused watching it, and afterwards I did have to kind of read just to make sure who was who, because I kind of got confused with the two stories. So that would be like
Hmm.
my only like negative thing about it. It was I just kind of because there wasn't too much dialogue, and so I just kind of got confused between the two stories and who was who. But other than that, like I thought it was definitely filmed like uniquely, just like the angled film ways and how it's like really close up in the
Yes.
music. It was funny because I was you know, as I was watching the movie, my wife was in the room and she was listening to the music and she was kind of like tapping her feet because she's like, I like this, and I was like, really?
That's funny.
And what's funny about it is the music kind of reminded me of like the old James Bond GoldenEye from like Nintendo 64. Like that's kind of like the vibe I got from it.
That's funny.
But yeah, like I did enjoy the movie. I would have to say Chungking Express I liked more than this
Hmm.
movie. But there were definitely some funny points and that, you know, just like the little scenes that the guy had to do because, you know, this movie is basically just about how it's two stories of like one guy's like a hitman and he has like this partner woman that kind of helps him clean up after when he's done, like with the room that he's staying in. And she like really is fascinated with him, daydreams about him. And then, you know, the second story is about this other guy that lives in the same building, but he's like this crazy guy that doesn't speak and he like escapes prison and then he like breaks into like businesses at night and he like acts like he's working these businesses even though it's not his business. It's so bizarre. And then he like ends up like hooking up with like the girl that was like the partner of the hitman, and like so like that's where like that connection is, and so it was interesting. But I was more fascinated with the crazy guy than like anything else
Yeah.
because he was super funny. Like my favorite scene was probably the ice cream scene.
Yeah, hands down. Me too. That was amazing.
Well, especially that whole interaction with the guy where he's like shaving him and then he brings him back in because the guy was trying to run away. And then he's like working at it's just that when they look at each other and the guy's like, oh shit. And then he like tries to run away. The guy grabs him and then he won't like let him leave. He has to eat like all this ice cream. So then he tries calling like a family member. And then he brings like the whole family and then
Yeah.
everybody's like having to eat it.
They're
It's,
all in the ice cream truck, and he's holding like 3 ice cream cones.
Yeah, dude.
Like,
Like
I
how he's
can't
on the
eat all
phone, like
this.
holding like 3 ice cream cones, just eating it. I can't eat it all. You guys gotta come.
It's so funny. I really enjoyed that too. I
Yeah, it
thought
was so funny.
the crazy guy was really funny. He's just so weird. And then his whole relationship with his dad, right? That's his dad, right?
Yeah.
Everything with his dad was so funny. Like when when his dad went to go, his dad went to go poop in the bathroom or whatever, and then
Locks him
he
in
like
there.
there was and the toilet paper was like on top of the TV, and he threw the toilet paper in, and then he locks him in the bathroom, and he's just constantly doing like crazy weird stuff like that, which was just really funny. Um, Definitely entertaining. It's funny I was gonna ask you because I assumed that you like Chunking Express more
Yeah.
because I know you like that one a lot. I like both these movies a lot, and I think
It's
that
not like one's
probably
like superior, like
yeah,
better. Like they're both like even in a way, but I just felt like I was able to
right.
understand Chunking Express plot more than this one, and so that's why I
Hmm.
would give it a slight edge.
Yeah, and I was definitely a little confused with this one as well. Like as you were saying, there's a couple parts I'm like, wait, what? So I had that same thing, but and I would probably rate both of these movies the same, and I enjoyed them pretty much on the same level. But I think that I actually like this one
Oh,
more
okay.
than Chunking Express. Not by like a lot,
Yeah.
like you said, but I think I enjoy this one a little bit more. Um, and I just really I love the style of this movie. Same with Chunking Express, but I think I liked it more in this one. Um, but all the like I love the use of the wide angles and like
Mm-hmm.
the super close up shots
Yeah,
always, and just like
exactly.
the way just the cinematography is so interesting, the way the camera moves and has all these weird close ups, and like the scenes like where it's like right up next to the TV, and just I just thought the cinematography is really interesting. And then um and there's a lot of shots that I really loved, like all the scenes when they're on the motorcycle
Mm-hmm.
and like going through the tunnel. I thought looked so cool. Um, uh, so I just really I like the style of these movies a lot, and
Mm-hmm.
I want to watch. I definitely want to watch some of his other movies
Yeah,
now
same.
because I've really enjoyed both of these so far, and I would definitely want to check out his other ones. Um,
His
but
most recent one was in
yeah.
2013.
Oh yeah. Wow.
But he has a couple.
Yeah, I want to watch. I've heard really good things about In the Mood for Love, I think it's called. Yeah, In the Mood for Love from 2000. That one looks good. Um, but yeah, it's an interesting movie. And I like um the hitman character. I liked all the characters. I thought that they were interesting. There's definitely like there's parts like as you said where I kind of felt like I didn't know like what was going on exactly, or just felt like I was missing something.
Yeah, exactly.
but I enjoyed watching these characters, and um, I was engaged the whole time, and I just really love the style and um like the color palettes and stuff, like all the green and uh I just thought it looked so interesting
And
like throughout the whole
and I
movie.
feel like this movie really focused on rain as well. And I
Yeah.
really like that how they implemented rain, and it kind of it felt cold too. I don't know like if you
Mhm.
got that feeling, but like a lot of times like there was just a lot of the scenes like just felt cold. Like the rain, like maybe it was like a fall, like maybe kind of leading up to winter kind of like scenario. So I just kind of enjoyed that. But I just I thought it was really funny just the the crazy guy with ice cream just bothering people like at every chance that he can get.
Yeah. And when there's that part where he's like sitting on that pig and like jumping on it or
Yeah,
whatever.
like
Like
massaging
it's
it.
just yeah. Yeah. I think um I would definitely rewatch this movie sometime in the
Yeah.
future, and I think especially for his character, just because I really thought he was funny. Um, just so just completely bizarre.
And I feel like that's what like kind of made it such an interesting plot, like having these two different stories. Because you had one person that was cool and calm, but he was a hitman. And then you had like
Hmm.
this crazy delinquent person that like is mute and he's just breaking into people's businesses and just selling it,
Yeah,
even though like the
yeah.
people like don't want it.
Hmm.
So,
And remember when he was in? Someone asked him like, "So how much?" Oh, wasn't it the hitman guy? Yeah, he asked him in the restaurant. He's like, "So how much does it cost to open up one of these?"
oh yeah, yeah.
And he just doesn't talk, so he's just weird dude.
So what would
But
you rate this movie?
I'd give it 4 stars,
Yeah, I gave it
four,
four
four to
stars as
four
well.
to 5 stars.
I gave it four
Yeah,
stars as well.
yeah. I thought it was really great. I thought, yeah, I enjoyed it. It was unique, and especially the way it's filmed, and um, I thought it had really just interesting characters, and a lot of the a lot of just the environment, and um, like the city and the different buildings, and there's a lot of like cramped spaces like in rooms, and um, yeah, it's just cool. It's a cool movie.
Yeah, I feel like when I watch these movies, it just makes me fascinated with like other people's cultures, and it just makes me
Yeah.
like want to go there and like just like be like just like travel and like be over there and see what it's like. So,
Agreed. Same. So yeah, good movie.
and that was on
So
Criterion Channel. So,
yes, yeah. So if you want to watch it, you can check it out on Criterion Channel, or I'm sure it's available to rent or something too.
and then our
Um,
other movie, you picked this one.
yes. So I picked the movie Dead Man, which also, did you notice that it's from the same year, 1995?
Hey, look at that.
Um, so another movie from 1995. Uh, and this is a Jim Jarmusch movie, which actually I don't think I've ever seen any of his movies. I don't think, but I've been wanting to, and I kind of thought this would be a good movie to start with, for both of us,
Oh yeah.
um, with Johnny Depp, and it seems like it's one of his more famous movies. Um, but I definitely want to check out more of his movies, especially after watching this. But yeah, so this is a western, or more of it's more like an anti-western, starring Johnny Depp. It's filmed in black and white, and it has some other cameos and some cool, some interesting people who are in the movie, like So it has Gary Farmer, Billy Bob Thornton, Iggy Pop, Crispin Glover is in it. Um, of course, just being a weirdo in the beginning on the
Oh
train.
yeah.
John Hurt and uh, who else? Oh yeah, and Robert Mitchum. I think this is one of Robert Mitchum's last movies. I think, but uh, but yeah, it was a um, cool western that's very uh, just different than really most westerns, which I enjoy. I've seen a few of these movies now that are kind of they're western, but just not your typical uh, western from like a John Wayne movie or something. Um, and so it's about he's an accountant and he goes to this town. He's gonna get this job, but he gets there too late. I'm not sure how long it took him, but he traveled by train, and the position's already filled, and he kind of hangs out in this
Yeah.
town, and he meets a girl. That was her name Thelma or something like that. Something with a th.
Oh,
Um,
Thel.
Thel,
Yeah.
yeah. So he meets Thel, and they they get a little romantically entangled a little bit, and the movie starts off pretty much with um was it
Ex-boyfriend.
her ex-boyfriend? Okay, that's what I thought, but the way with everything happened, I'm like, I don't know if that was her current boyfriend or ex-boyfriend. But so her ex-boyfriend comes and walks in on them in the bedroom, and they have a little, they talk for a minute, and he's just kind of surprised and but very just kind of straight-faced, monotone, and then she says something like, I never really loved you anyway. And he pulls out his gun and he tries to kill Johnny Depp's character. Um, and then she like did the did the slow mo dive in front of him, and she got shot, and so she dies. And then he reaches over and grabs a gun and kills this dude.
Took a couple
And
shots.
then yeah, 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 exactly. He shot like what
Yeah,
four
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 shots.
times. Yeah, and the dude just stood there, I think, because he was still shocked that he just killed Thel.
Oh yeah.
Um, and I think he was just ready to die after that, I guess, anyway. But so then Johnny Depp's he's he runs off and he's injured because the bullet went through her and hit his chest. Um, and then he meets probably my favorite character
Oh
in the
yeah.
movie. Um, what's his name again?
Nobody.
Nobody. Good old Nobody. He meets Nobody, who's a Native American guy, and he helps him out. They become friends, and Nobody was a really funny. Thought he was a really, really funny character.
Well,
Um,
because he thinks that William Blake is a poet.
yeah, yep. He thinks that he's the poet, and um, yeah, he's just a funny dude. Do you have tobacco?
Do you have tobacco? Do you have tobacco?
Yeah. Um, so yeah, and that's how the story starts, and then he's on the run, and the people in town find out what happened, and they think that he killed both of them, and so there's a reward for him, and there's this the group of three people who are sent to go assassinate him. uh, and that's kind of the premise of the story is Johnny Depp, who's just this accountant,
Got
kind of
entangled.
got entangled and is now an outlaw. Uh, so what did you think of the movie?
I really enjoyed the music by
Yes.
Neil Young. It just, it's a Western, but it just had like this element of, I think the music really just put it in a different direction.
Hmm.
I don't even know, how would you describe like
It,
the music? Like what?
Um, so definitely it's hard to even describe because I don't think I've ever heard like a movie that had this kind of score to it. But Neil
It's like
Young,
just
he
like guitars, like
yeah,
just
it's electric guitar and some acoustic guitar and like I think a little bit of piano and organ, but like that's it. It's like mostly just like electric guitar and and a lot of it, I guess Neil Young just improvised and he was watching a cut of the movie and just made music and like that was the music for the movie and I thought it was really cool and it definitely added a lot
it
to the
did.
movie. Um, so yeah, I really enjoyed that a lot too. I thought it was just cool and something that was very unique and different. And especially that like coupled with the beautiful black and white cinematography,
Oh yeah.
which looked great. And um, apparently, I was reading that the studio offered Jim Jarmusch more money to make the movie if he would just do it in color, but he was so set on. He's like, no, this has to be in black and white. Like that
I
was
really did
his.
enjoy the black and white.
Yeah, it really worked. I love the style of it and uh, thought it was cool. So I'm glad that he did that. Stuck to his guns, but I guess he needed like he definitely could have used the more money to make the movie because I think at this point this was one of his most expensive movies that he made. Um, and I was watching some of the special features that were on the Criterion channel. Like there was a Q&A thing that he did, and I saw some of the deleted scenes too. Um, but he was saying that he definitely could have used the money um, because they didn't like the budget wasn't enough as it was, but he wasn't willing to cooperate with them and make it in color. He's like, no, this is gonna be black and white. So I'm glad that he stuck to his guns and
And I
did
feel
what
like
he.
that's what makes that movie so different with it being black and white, with the score, like the music, how it was
Hmm.
so different. And I
Yeah.
really did enjoy Johnny Depp in it. I thought, a little bit younger Johnny Depp. Um, but I thought he did a good job, like just with his character and
Hmm.
kind of seeming out of it like the whole time until he has like this change where he realizes what's happening after he sees the wanted posters. Then he's like, you know what? Yeah, I'm an outlaw kind of thing. So,
Yeah.
especially like when he walks past, when he was walking back from like going to the bathroom and he sees like U.S. Marshals there, he just shoots him right away. Hey, are you
Oh
William
yeah.
Blake? Yeah, and then he just shoots and
Yeah.
kills him.
Yeah. There were um, some pretty intense scenes that were pretty violent that I kind of sort of caught me off guard, like because I just wasn't expecting it to be.
The head squish,
Yeah, the head squish was something else.
and then the cannibalism.
Yeah, that too.
I didn't see those two scenes coming. I was like, oh,
No.
I was like, damn, okay.
Yeah.
Because all it was just like shooting, like just
Yeah.
like standoff kind of thing. But yeah, you had a part where one of the what is it like bounty person stepped on someone's head, and you just see it smush a little bit,
Oh yeah. He's crushes skull.
and then that bounty guy, like he's there's because there's three of them, like one's like this like younger like black kid or whatever, and the older one kind of gets annoyed with him and just shoots like the kid like in the back of the head, and then
Yeah,
so
as
then
he's
there's only
drinking water.
yeah, and then
Yeah.
there's only two of them, and then one of them won't stop talking, so then he just shoots him, and then the next you don't see the shot. It's just kind of one of those
Hmm.
panned out scenes, and the next thing you know, you see him, the bounty guy at like a fire, and he's like eating an arm, and he's like just like picking through his teeth, like probably getting like fatty pieces or something. You're like, holy shit, like okay.
Yeah. Yeah, that's pretty crazy. I also
But
liked.
I
Oh, no, go
go
ahead.
ahead.
No,
No,
you
go
go
ahead.
ahead. No, you go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say I just really enjoyed Nobody and Blake. I just
Yeah.
Like the part where like, Johnny Depp's character is like, "Hey, like I'm hungry," and he's like, "No, you are like in a spiritual quest. Like you don't need any food right now." Because like nobody like ate something, and the next thing you know, like Johnny Depp's character's waking up, and nobody, the Indian, is just like Native American, is just looking at him, staring at him,
Yeah.
and then you just see like Johnny Depp's like face kind of like change to like a skull, like kind of because he's like hallucinating a little bit.
hmm
Um, the Native American nobody, so because what he ate was like a drug or whatever. So that whole scene was just kind of funny, but I really did enjoy Nobody in it. I felt like him and Johnny Depp did a good job with each other, and they complemented.
Yeah, and I really enjoyed their relationship too. I thought it was cool. And it was I mean, it was really funny. And that one scene when he runs into nobody and he's having sex with
Oh
having sex
yeah,
with
because
someone.
it sounds like a bear. You're like,
Yeah,
oh shoot.
yeah, that was funny. Um, so yeah, I think nobody added a lot of kind of comedic relief to the movie that
Yeah,
I enjoyed, and his performance was good. He just was a very likable character. And then Jim Jarmusch, he worked really hard to. He wanted to you make sure to research and like depict Native American culture accurately because that's
yeah,
something that in westerns, especially in classic westerns and stuff, it's always like the stereotypical Native Americans and not a lot of accuracy in a lot of Western movies like that. And so I thought that was interesting. He did research, and and in the movie, like there's conversations where people speak Cree and they speak Blackfoot languages. Um, so I thought that was pretty cool.
it had some real subtle touches like that that really kind of came full circle that I enjoyed as well.
hmm
But yeah, just from the very beginning, you see him riding the train, and then the end, he's on a canoe because he got shot and everything, and he's slowly dying, and just it was an interesting close to the movie. And it's
Yeah.
it's it's one of those plots where like I feel like every minute I was watching, I was like, I have no clue where this is going in a sense. And so I
hmm
think that's what I enjoyed about it as well. Just like kind of everything was like a brand new plot line, and not really like being able to expect like what it's going to be about. So the element of surprise was nice.
Yeah, I agree. I didn't really know where it was going or what was going to happen, and didn't know a whole lot about the movie, before seeing it. So it was definitely fun watching it and watching the story unfold. And I just like the whole premise of it. He's just an accountant, and then by the end of it, he's pretty badass in the end of the movie. I mean,
Oh
he
yeah.
killed a bunch of dudes, and he just kind of embraces the that he's an outlaw.
Well, especially at the corner store or whatever, like when
Oh
they're
yeah,
where the guy's like, "Can I get your autograph?" And then he stabs him with the pen. It was like, "Here's your
hmm
autograph," and then he
yeah,
shoots him.
yeah. That was
So
awesome.
yeah,
I love that.
his character definitely changed with the movie, and so that was unique to see. So what would you rate this one?
I would also give this one 4 out of 5 stars.
I gave it
I
4 as
thought,
well.
what do you know? Couple of fours. Wow,
Yeah, 4 for
I,
4
th-
for 4.
that's Wendy's 4 for 4.
Yeah, look at that.
Um, wow, I think this might be the first time where well, at least on the podcast where we've agreed completely on both with our scores. Um, but yeah, I think that both movies are great. I really love this movie a lot, I think with both of these, honestly, maybe if I watch them again, my score could change. It could go up to 4.5,
Yeah.
um, but I think that they're both really great. And I love a lot of Western movies, and I thought that this was a really interesting one, and did a lot of things that were very different. Um, than any typical Western. And I would recommend it. And also, it has Johnny Depp, so
Exactly.
and Johnny Depp was pretty great.
And this was on HBO Max, so that's where I watched it.
Oh, okay, cool. And I watched it on Criterion Channel.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I enjoyed it. Both of these movies were great, and Johnny Depp's character was really nice to see that change throughout the movie, and you had nobody as the Native American just kind of have that connection with each other, and you know, do you have any tobacco? So
yeah,
yeah,
I
it's definitely one of
don't
those
smoke.
movies that I will definitely want to watch again, like down the road, because there might have been some things that I missed and will grab my attention again. But
Agreed. Agreed. And I'm excited too because I like this movie a lot, um I've never seen any of Jim Jarmusch's other movies, so I'm excited to kind of explore some of his other movies and see what
yeah,
else
I
he's
agree.
done because it seems like he's an interesting and important American filmmaker that I just haven't gotten to yet until now, and so I think I'll have to check out some more of his works.
A good first start. I
Yes,
agree.
for sure. Well, was there anything else that you wanted to talk about, or?
Nope, just excited for Tenet tomorrow.
Oh yeah, that's right. I keep forgetting
I know it's
that
crazy.
it doesn't feel real. Well, I'm
I
excited to
saw
see
when I was
Tenet too.
looking at the app, I saw that Greenland should be coming out like the end of September, so that'll be interesting to see.
Nice.
And that's with the guy from Olympus Has Fallen, and I can't remember his name. But it looks like an interesting plot, so definitely have to see it. But going with Tenet, we're watching Christopher Nolan movies this week. So I
Yes.
did Insomnia, and then you chose.
Interstellar.
Yes.
Interstellar.
So it'd be great movies to see, kind of going along with, these other movies that Christopher Nolan has directed. So
Yeah. So it'll be a Christopher Nolan week, and we'll probably do.
yeah.
We'll probably both do like our rankings too. See like
Oh
what are
yeah,
your
definitely.
how you'd rank the Nolan verse.
Yeah, I'm interested to see what your rankings are going to be.
I'm excited to rewatch Interstellar and then also Insomnia because it's been a while since I've seen either of those, and I'm not entirely sure how I'd rank them. It's kind of hard because I do love Christopher Nolan's movies, and yeah, I'm excited to talk about it. It'll be fun.
Yes, it will. Sounds good.
Cool beans. Well, if that's it, then we'll see you next week.
Hasta
Bye,
luego,
everybody.
everybody.